Ho! Happy Halloween, everyone!
That sounded more like some Christmas shit.
Yeah. I'm bringing two things together.
Ooh. It's more of a Halloween thing.
Okay, fair. It wasn't that bad.
Well, yes and no. But anyways. Hello and welcome back to the Dead Red Herring podcast.
Woo! We're back once more.
Well, please welcome back if you heard our earlier episodes, and welcome if you're brand new.
I suppose you're welcome if you're brand new, yeah.
Wow, the enthusiasm.
Oh, yes.
You were complaining about that for me last time.
I learned.
Yeah, you're a good pupil. But since it's the time of spooky,
it's beginning to be the end of Spooktober.
yeah.
So
for you English folks,
Yanks,
and stuff, you have your Halloween, and here in Sweden, it's getting a hold.
Yeah. We're beginning to embrace it also, and all right, fine. It's more of an English, Irish, American holiday, but nah, I don't mind.
But it's not Swedish. We have more of the original thought about All Hallows Eve. Allhelgonaafton, as it's called.
Alla helgons afton.
Where you go, to the graveyard, light some candles, and think about the
dead.
Yeah.
Think
your
about
past ones.
The dearly departed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose that's cozy and all, and
graveyards, candles, cozy. Not my pick for a romantic date, but hey.
Yeah. You never tried it.
No, too spooky for me.
Too spooky. But since we're in the middle of this spooky month, or
time of spookiness.
Yeah. I think it's appropriate we're gonna have a little talk about horror.
Yeah. Horror in movies, games, literature, maybe?
Yeah.
All over.
In
the genre.
The genre of the horror, perhaps even in folklore. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see what we
can find.
Yes.
So first off, I guess we should go into the complaint department. Because why start out happy and all when you can go to complaining?
You know, we're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this the Swedish way.
Complain at first, then we're gonna go up to a little bit of happiness, and then we're gonna end up complaining again.
Yeah.
I suppose.
The Swedish curve.
Oh, yes. Curves.
Yeah. Because when it comes to horror, I like the genre. I think there is a lot of good stuff, but there's equally or actually even more bad stuff. Because when it comes to both games and movies and literature, the setting and story is really what's important. But today, and I think it's been like this for a long time now, the story, oftentimes it's not really there.
No.
There's more of a reliance on the adrenaline pumping sheep scare or jump scare.
Boo!
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. And I totally agree. I would like to embrace more horror genre, but like I'm not so very fond about jump scares.
No, not me either.
Like what can you say? It's kind of a turn off for me for the genre. Like when you're sitting enjoying the movie and the story and like,
yeah, and suddenly there's this loud noise, screeching violence, and oh shit, something's there, but it's not really. Well,
no.
It's more this natural reaction.
Yeah.
Because you get this instant fight or flight impulse. And in the long run, this turns really tiresome.
Yeah.
And it's like you start to anticipate it.
Yeah.
So that whenever you watch something, it's like, oh, when's it gonna come? Especially around this time. Even when you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you, Vsauce did that thing at some point.
Yeah.
I think it's in the episode where they talk about the Uncanny Valley. At the end of that episode, they do a sort of jump scare.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's Halloween. It's supposed to be spooky and all, and you get this frightening thing. But it's just so goddamn tiresome that everyone is doing it.
But did you notice when we started mentioning the word jump scare?
Mm-hmm.
Like you sort of tense up a bit. Like, what jump scare? When? So I think the threat of a jump scare can be very effective, but
it's sort of like anticipating someone to come poke you in your side.
Yeah, it's
gonna happen at some point. It
makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and
like, I know you were there, motherfucker.
But I suppose that's a somewhat of a appropriate reaction for real horror.
I think the main difference between the cheap sort of jump scares and the real horror is that you don't need that loud crash. You don't need that in your face image screaming.
No.
Because when it comes to the real horror, it's already in your mind. Because the best form of horror, in my opinion, is the psychological one.
Yeah.
Where you actually start thinking about it, start doubting whether something could be or couldn't be.
Yeah.
And this uncertainty, it starts building up inside, and to the point where your perception of things starts to be a bit muddy, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think so.
And this is what makes an experience really frightening, because when you're not really sure whether it's, well, to say it's real or not, or if there is going to be, like, you imagine the worst case scenario, and you really expect this worst case thing to happen. And if you actually have a good story with characters you care about, you will react to that. It's like, oh shit, I really like this person, but oh fuck, don't go in there! Don't open that door!
Yo, don't do it! Don't do it!
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's somewhat, I would kind of say the fear of the unknown. It's a very effective in those scenarios. Like, you have no idea what's gonna come, and like...
Yeah, the unknown threat. Yeah. But even though if you can see the threat, I mean, if we look at the old Halloween movie, you actually feel the horror of Michael Myers hunting you. And I mean, he's not some paranormal entity.
No.
He's just a psychopathic man.
Yeah.
With a knife. And that's enough.
Yeah.
Because he's a big threat. Then again, you can have games like Silent Hill, where you have the supernatural, but it frightens you because you don't understand it.
Exactly.
And even if you do understand it, it's just that it's so out of this world that, well, it's a big threat. And that's the main thing when it comes to horror. There has to be a big threat of some sort. Whether it's actually a creature or it's the impending feeling of doom or mental illness. And when it comes to this whole feeling exposed part, because that's also a main feature, you need to feel like you are the weaker part. That whatever it is that you're confronting is way bigger, stronger, faster than you are. And you can do nothing to defend yourself against it, or at least very little to defend yourself against it. That is also why you have games like Amnesia.
That's
The Dark Descent, the first one. I love that game because it's all about the atmosphere, and that, well, it's a descent into insanity and madness. And when actually the grunts appear, you run away screaming.
Because now you feel you have this, like, something is hunting you, and fuck, fuck. But the main thing about that game, as far as I have I have seen, no jump scare. There may be some, like,
there are some jump scares, but it's not really like this.
I want to see, like, jump scares. Like, jump scares is like something that suddenly appears in front of you and, like, doing like that, and
like those goddamn Flash games.
Screamers. Remember those people?
Fuck them. But okay, in that case, sure, It's not a jump scare. It's not a sheep scare.
No, like the cat, a cat, so to speak.
Yeah, cat scare.
Exactly. Like it's it sort of builds up on the eeriness, more of a horror discharge. Like I would like to. I have a sort of a similarity. Like jump scares is like a comedian going around tickling people in the audience and claiming his act works because people are laughing.
Yeah, sort of.
It's that natural reaction, like you said, the fight or flight reaction.
Someone's gonna poke you in your sides and you're like tensing up because you know it's gonna come at any point.
And like in Amnesia, you have that feeling, but nothing really happens like that. But it's builds up this eeriness.
You expect it.
Yeah.
You expect to see the monster behind the next corner.
Yeah.
And that was what is giving the game such great effect. And when you actually do get something that sort of jumps at you, it isn't that you get this screaming face and everything. It's just that you have already had this feeling of dread building up inside you, and when you actually get a release to that, it comes in full force.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good playthrough videos on Amnesia.
Yeah.
For example.
But you don't need more than that.
No,
to have this horror feeling.
It's inside your head, and that's the main feature. You don't need to have this screamer jump out at you, because if you can get inside someone's head with the fear and dread, you got the job done for you. It's like when it comes to writing, you don't want to go into the nitty details of stuff more than you have to. You just need to give the reader enough to have him or her make his own image of what's seeing.
I have a pet peeve with that. I listen to a lot of read-throughs of creepypastas. When I've been working and such.
Yeah.
Like I find it enjoyable. There are enjoyable stories. But you also notice that these stories are written by people who they have this image that they want to give to the reader, so to speak. And that's always a example of mistakes they be making. They're doing the telling and not showing. Like you said, they go into these itty bitty little pieces of describing like this scene, and then you see the monster, and the monster was
long arms, big teeth,
gray, and all right.
Yeah, into the tiny details of it all, instead of just giving you enough to make your own idea of what it is.
Yeah, and you notice that because you notice that the writer want you to see the monster the way they're seeing, so they really want you to look at those details.
They want you to have the same image,
and that's what the story has basically been building up to. And I have issues with that because like I have been in suspense the whole story, and like, okay, come on, it's getting better and better, and then they reveal the monster, and you blew it.
I got two good examples about this.
Yeah.
The first one is the movie Sign.
Yeah.
Where a whole lot of the first part of the movie just goes to have this invisible threat, and it just keeps building and building and building until the point when they actually show the alien. And that first image of seeing it, that acts as the unloading of your expectations of all the dread that's been building up.
The climax.
Yeah, it becomes a climax, because after that, at least I feel that nothing was scary anymore.
No.
After that point, it was more or less like, oh yeah, it's an alien flick. Ugh.
Yeah.
Hands under the doors and everything. But my second example is oh god, what is it? I forgot.
The suspense.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I have an example, the Langoliers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Stephen King, like, yeah, and say what you want about the TV movie, but when they described, they build up like they're stuck in. Yeah, by the way, spoilers, people.
Yeah. Langoliers is really old, so I mean,
it's a classic. Come on, see it. But
well, if you want to laugh, see it.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. If you want a good suspense, read it.
Yeah.
And like they're stuck in the past, and they don't have no idea what's going on, and they hear something is coming.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what's coming, and you keep hearing the Langoliers, they're coming, and then they reveal the monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, the very look of the monsters, like imagine
the bad CGI.
bad CGI meatballs with like chainsaw teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, only that it's so bad. But and then you have they reveal the monster. Like, no, don't do that.
The funny thing about that is that when I think about it today, to me, the Langoliers look like some sort of enemy you could actually encounter in Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. That's the quality of it. It's like, oh shit, it's not scary at all, is it?
Yeah, actually, yeah. But I mean, that's a good example of a discharge of your expectations. Mm-hmm. Alright, fair enough, it's at the end, but could be done better.
It could be done a whole lot better. But then again, this is a Stephen King TV series, miniseries.
Yeah.
And we know that when it comes to Stephen King work adapted into TV,
it ain't the best.
No.
His books, there we can talk about suspense.
Yeah, well, it's a whole different thing with the books.
Yeah. You have so many. I mean, the only thing that actually worked with Stephen King was The Shining.
Which of
yeah, the Kubrick kind.
Yeah, because that's not close to the original.
No, I know, and Stephen King actually said that, but it worked.
Yeah,
Kubrick's
version of The Shining is actually a really good example of the road into madness.
Yeah, the suspense without the without. I think I have a saying for this, like the corpse in the cupboard. Like imagine you have a movie like the main protagonist is going to a closet and open up and the corpse falls out. Is that one?
Lik i garderoben.
Lik i garderoben,
yeah.
Yeah. This sudden frightening sight.
Yeah.
And you have The Shining, which is, it lacks that, but it also builds the uncomfortableness.
Well, actually, it does have some of those scenes.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like the classic jump scare corpse.
Yeah,
in the
no,
closet.
of course, it's not a corpse falling out and hugging you. That kind.
With the violins up.
Yeah, exactly. No, not like that. But the eeriness and the uncomfortable feeling you get when you see all the small details and towards the ending of the movie, that's when you really get the whole lot of it.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it works. I think it builds on that little uncomfortable feeling in the back of your head, like, oh, this is wrong.
Yeah.
So that's why I like with it.
Yeah.
It's not so in your face.
Exactly. But then again, if we're gonna go into
he said and thought about the blood in the elevator, but all right, fuck it.
But yeah, and then you have the scene with the dog man, whatever it is, looking like he's giving fly show to someone. That's just weird. Whatever the fuck that was.
It's uncomfortable. I give them that.
Yeah. But when it comes to in your face things, I mean, monster flicks.
All right, yeah.
You can have really good monsters and that actually scare you. Again, if I think about the Silent Hill game, those who know about Pyramid Head,
yeah,
it's like you mention that, or if you go to the zombified nurses, I mean, people get an image and they know, shit,
this is comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, so you can have the clear image of the enemy or the threat, but it can still get you all worked up because you know that, oh shit, I need to get away from this. And we were actually having a sort of conversation about this before recording, where we had the question, or rather I had the question, which is more scary when it comes to games.
Yeah.
A game where you have no way of defending yourself, you can only run and try to escape or hide, or you have some means of defending yourself, but it's really ineffective. Which of these is worse? Because I'm gonna reference to Amnesia a whole lot here because
it's a good example.
Yeah, but in Amnesia you have no way of defending yourself. You can only run away and hope to hide from whatever is hunting you. You had the game before from the same creator, the Penumbra games.
Oh yeah.
We actually had sort of a mean to inflict damage on your enemies, but wasn't really that effective. You have the old Resident Evil game. For example, if we look at Resident Evil 2, you have the means to actually kill zombies and whatever creature is coming at you, but at the expense of your very limited supply of ammunition. And if we look at the remake of Resident Evil 1 to the GameCube, where they introduced the Crimson Head zombies, which are the regular zombies that if you don't burn them, will come back later as a faster and stronger sort that will more or less tear your throat out with relative ease. So, I mean, these are effective tools. You can still kill them, you can defend yourself, but at great expense of your resources. And that's also part of the whole horror thing, that you have resources that are quite limited. I mean, you fear for your life because you've invested a whole lot in the character, in playtime, in gathering resources. And if you don't have means to, well, be sure to keep your progress, whether it's progress within the storyline of the game or be sure to be able to get back the resources you've gathered or stuff like that, you will become nervous because at this point you have something to lose.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's an effective.
Exactly. I mean, even Minecraft can be really scary at times if you're playing on survival. You've actually found your first diamonds, but you know you have to go back through that cave, and you had sort of a lack of torches, and you know there are going to be zombies and skeletons.
Yeah, I mean, the sheer panic and fright when you, like, do minding your own business and, like...
Yeah, god damn, those fucking creepers!
I mean...
Now that's a fucking sheep scare, if anything.
Yeah, yep, it surely is. And when you have this, like, I have something to lose. Ah, fuck, boom.
Yeah.
But I agree. I find that that kind of game when you can inflict damage, but very ineffective, I think that maybe not the most frightening, but I think it's quite frightening because when you know that it's not very effective what you're gonna do, you start to panic.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very effective.
Oh, I got an iron pipe. I can defend myself. Whack. Oh, shit.
He's not doing anything.
Work.
Getting closer.
Yeah.
And then you have the option to run away.
Yeah.
But in a game when you don't have an option to fight, then you must run away. And I understand. It can be very frightening.
I guess that's why you haven't played Amnesia yet.
I've started playing it, but I was like... I've just not come through it yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
We should do a live stream.
Oh, yes, we should. Fun stuff.
Yeah. Anyways.
But on the subject of these games and such, I suppose we can talk a little bit about gore?
Yeah.
Not Al Gore, but the bloody kind.
Well, I guess that's scary as well. But anyways. Climate scare!
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah. But yeah, gore. That's a special category in itself.
Yeah, and when... Oh.
I actually... Sorry for interrupting, but last night I actually watched some playthroughs of Splatterhouse.
Oh?
Yeah, it's well a old game series. It came to Sega Genesis, I think.
Hmm.
But I just watched some playthrough where it was the player took on all the bosses without taking damage. It was really interesting to see. But what I remember thinking about when I was watching this is that this is really gory, and this is really the image I kind of get when talking about the 90s sort of horror, because it's a lot of gore, a lot of this weird monster creatures, and ultra violence, actually. And that's sort of what I remember from growing up in the 90s when it came to horror. But it's more of a legacy from the 80s when you had sort of well, you had both Alien, you had The Thing,
Yeah.
The Fly. I mean, there
Bleh.
was a lot of gore at that point.
Yeah.
And then it translated into the slashers in the middle of the 90s, and I never was a fan of those.
I think the slashers also came in the midst of the 80s.
Yeah,
Which,
sure. I mean, both Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could call them slashers.
Well, they have a killer that kills a lot of the protagonists. I would certainly call it slasher.
Yeah, but at least it's not the 90s sort of slasher. Because...
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Screaming bimbos at the point where you're actually rooting for the killer to come on, kill
She's
him already!
over there!
Yeah.
Cut her!
Make her shut up!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I think that sort of took over from the legacy of these 80s slasher flicks. And already then it was somewhat ridiculous amount of gore and blood. And
yeah, but I think the reason they made them sort of ridiculous was to lessen the impact of the fright.
I suppose. Because, yeah, I was thinking about it, actually. Does a lot of slash or splatter make good horror?
I think it could.
It could, but like you said, it sort of takes the edge of things because you're just sitting there in sheer awe and like, how much blood is in this bitch?
Yeah, exactly. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the old one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much blood and splatter all over. It's like, wow, you can fill a tub with that.
Yeah, but that's also a great example of this uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah, the gore.
Yeah, the
gore category.
Yeah, like, oh shit, this could actually happen in real life. And
I mean, the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the, well, I guess the more common form of Leatherface that we have today.
Yeah.
When that one came, I didn't really watch it. I'd never been really interested in that movie. But there's a scene of it that is sort of a found footage part.
Yeah.
From a police body cam, where they go into, I think it's either the basement or his shack or whatever it is, and look around. And then there's this closet where Leatherface springs out from. And that scene, that's really awesome. Well, I think we could consider it to be a jump scare, but I think it's actually well done.
All right.
Because this is, when it comes to found footage filming, we'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah.
But there's ways to do it good and ways to do it bad. But in this case, I think they made it really good because looking at it, as I remember at least, I never really thought about this as being acted.
No.
My first impression was that, oh shit, is this real footage? Is this like from sort of behind the scenes inspiration base where the police actually came through? Oh no, it's still part of the movie. Oh shit.
Oh, there's a Leatherface.
Yeah, it was real to me when I saw it. I think it would react different today, but that's also the part of the found footage filming. That is what made the Blair Witch Project really intense.
Yeah.
Because you actually could believe that this was found footage from teenagers in the woods.
This could actually happen.
Yeah. And the suspense built by the Blair Witch Project was this... Actually, it's almost, or at some points it actually goes over the tipping point of being ridiculous. But it's this thing when you have a handheld camera with the old quality,
Yeah.
shaking and everything,
Yo.
and someone just going around in the woods and finding these weird things that you actually start thinking, could that really be? And this is the part that I was talking about earlier, when you start doubting whether a thing could be or not be.
Yeah.
Because you know with your logical side that that this is shit, this could never be. But if you at some point start doubting that thought,
yeah,
that's when you're in the grip of the movie.
Yeah, I suppose. That's that's a good feeling, so to speak.
Yeah.
And upon this subject of this could actually be, this was a thought I actually had right now when I was sitting here, and when I was gonna steer the conversation of torture porn.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was sitting here and thinking, the movie Hostel.
Yeah.
Basically, the premise is people get kidnapped by these people that holds sort of a fake hostel and keeps them in the basement, and people come there and do unspeakable things to them, like torture-esque style, like
making them watch sort of My Little Pony or stuff like that.
Don't be a monster. yeah, but I like, if you have the money, you can come there and like do unspeakable things to these people. When I was actually looking up this movie and saw it's somewhat based upon real events.
Mm-hmm.
There was this hotel in Thailand that was doing this.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and that's when I actually like, okay, that is somewhat uncomfortable, unnerving.
Yeah.
When you actually know that this could happen and this has happened.
Mm-hmm.
That is an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah, and I think that's what made the Hostel movies, well, I can't really remember if they were a success or not, but they gained a lot of popularity, and I think
I suppose
the aspect of it being based on reality and also thinking that this could be happening.
Too close for comfort.
Yeah, it's like going to creepypastas and reading about red rooms.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Exactly.
The possibility of it being real is what's really unnerving.
Yeah. But then when you have this, upon this subject of torture porn, this form of horror, I mean, alright, fair enough, it's somewhat effective when you know this can happen, but when you have this horror that is all just based upon you react revolted to the thing you're seeing, the Saw movies, the Human Centipede movies, Hostel, so to speak, there are countless more. The Girl Next Door. I don't remember more of these titles, but
I think the movie 7 sort of fits.
Sort of.
But this is actually, 7 is well made.
Yeah.
It's not torture porn.
No.
In the same sense as
it's
either
just
Hostel
uncomfortable. It's
or
very.
Saw. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but they have the elements of the torture horror.
But they don't show it.
No.
That's the good part.
Yeah. Well, they show the consequences of it all, but they don't show the torture.
No, exactly. And that's very effective, because when you're seeing just people being tortured in the movie, and your reaction is just based upon you feeling revolted and being scared because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a good way to be scared.
No, not really. The thing is that if we're talking about, Saw.
Yeah.
I like the first movie.
Yeah.
I think that the way they did the first movie actually captured the idea of the concept.
Yeah.
But the following movies, it was just, oh, hey, let's make some more of these death traps.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. When you have like a whiteboard right up, like, okay, the reverse bear trap, well, let's put that there.
Yeah.
And a spike room, put that there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a story between this.
Yeah.
Make something up, I suppose. But but I suppose Saw is a movie or movies that this torture, I don't want to say works, but it's somewhat fascinating.
I like the traps.
Yeah.
I like the contraptions. That's the reason I watch the movies, actually.
And Jigsaw can be quite compassionate sometimes.
Yeah.
He's a compassionate guy. He wants to punish bad people.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Sort of.
It gets really weird toward the later movies. And I think that at that point, I gave up totally on the story and just... It's like forwarding between the contraptions.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I don't give a damn about the story anymore. It's just...
Yeah.
Wait, how? Why? That's just stupid. Come on.
All right, next trap.
Yeah.
But then I suppose you have a little fun way to have the torture, so to speak. They're more like, I don't want to say not glorified, but very elaborate executions, so to speak. But when you have movies that just base upon torture to be scary, nah. I know it's an uncomfortable feeling, someone being tortured. I don't like it. I hate it, actually.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a very good horror method.
No. Well, it's not scary. It's just repulsing.
Yeah.
That's actually the essence of it.
And that's unfortunately a lot of times in creepypastas, like when it's not a monster that is being described, it's a gore scene.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I want to scare you, but I don't have a very good setting. Gore, torture, nightmare. And it doesn't really work, but yeah, no, too close to comfort. It's more effective.
I think, again, what makes a lot of these things work is that well, or rather, let me phrase it like this: the reason torture porn, we could call it that, torture horror, doesn't really work as frightening oftentimes is that it's too explicit.
Yeah.
It does the mistake of showing everything. But when you have something that only goes halfway, it's a lot more scary because you're not really sure what to expect. And you instead create your own images. Which actually reminds me of my second example of when the story goes awry and you think everything is just stupid instead.
Yep.
Insidious.
Yep.
The scene where you get to see the demon and everything, and I'm like, at that point, I'm like, nope.
Oh, they're
Tiny Tim tiptoe through the tulips while grinding your claws on an old grindstone.
It's not scary.
No,
not at all.
That's just, oh god. Send in the Care Bears. So that was my second example.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually sort of a thing with the whole torture horror as well.
Yeah.
Because once someone actually pulled out the drill and put it in the mouth of someone else and just goes apeshit, at that point, you've taken away all the suspense, you see the results, and yeah.
Meh.
Yeah.
Imagine the same scene, but you're seeing this person take out the drill and then fade out like to the corridor.
And you hear the sounds instead. That's way more effective.
Yep. Imagination, people.
Yeah. Go get some.
Get some. But yeah, that's somewhat our...
Yeah, well,
so
I think we could discuss this a whole lot more, but yeah.
Final question. Modern horror, does it work?
Define modern horror.
This overuse of jump scares and scary scenery and all that.
If you want to have a reaction, it works.
Yeah.
If you want to have people sitting on the edge in real dread and fear,
being sleepless for nights to come.
No. Because you get the jump scare and suddenly it's like, yeah, that was the monster. And who cares?
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. Like, we have associated horror with jump scares.
Yeah.
That is not something we should... they're not the same.
No.
Not at all.
You know you've seen a good movie when you're actually afraid of the monster under the bed.
Yep, exactly. Like, I remember when I was little, I saw the movie The Gate. It's from the 80s, and basically two boys accidentally, I don't want to say open a gate to hell, but
Sort of something like that.
yeah, they accidentally made a ritual and sort of unleashed a demon into the house, and I was scared for. I was a child, and months to come.
Mm.
I was young. See it now. It's quite amusing, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that.
I mean, look it up and see why I'm being. I was being
You're laughing
ridiculous.
at it
Yeah,
now.
I'm being ridiculous right now. So.
Well, you're easily frightened when you're a child, so I mean.
Yeah.
And
I'm still easily frightened.
Yeah, well. Jump scares!
Yeah,
Socialism! Technology! Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
I think that's our gripe.
I think we'll have to wrap it up at that point.
We're getting off track right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything we want to add?
Well, you as a listener, what's your thoughts about horror and the things we've been talking about? Do you think that jump scares is a good thing, or do you want to like puke on it like we do? Write a comment.
Write a comment. Send in drawings.
Oh God. Oh God, no.
It would give us something to be sleepless of.
Yeah. Well, you can always send it to us on our Twitter.
Yep.
DRH Podcast. One word.
We are there.
We're on
Shit
Twitter.
posting like crazy.
Yeah, sort of.
And we can actually mention that we are on Podbean.
Yep, and iTunes,
Yep.
and hopefully soon on Spotify. Hopefully. No promise.
Look out for that.
Yep.
But if
Well, if you actually listen to us on either Podbean or iTunes, that was kind of redundant. We're talking to the YouTube people right now.
Yeah. Hey, people on iTunes and Podbean. We're on YouTube also.
Hey!
So yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll have to end it at that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and
Have a great Halloween.
have a great spooky time.
Have a frightfully good time.
You're not scaring anyone with that.
What if I show you this? And with that, have a good one.